Hello, my name is Gromdan, and today I am playing PvP in DCS with my new VR headset from Pimax, the Pimax Crystal Light. It's like a first impression slash mini review of the headset. But before that, I want to give some background info on me. When I started playing DCS a few months ago, I used a 27-inch 1440p monitor with the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 for head tracking. It's basically the same setup I used to play Star Citizen. For the head tracking with Tobii Eye Tracker, it's fine. Like it worked for me, no issues there. But I found the monitor lacking, specifically the field of view, but also the fact that everything looked so small on a 27-inch monitor. It just made spotting and tracking targets more difficult. It was not an issue for me playing FPS games or Star Citizen, because when I am doing shooter games, typically I never have to shoot anything past 150 meters. And even on Star Citizen, I don't have to shoot ships past 1 kilometer. In DCS though, planes can be quite far away, and being able to spot them early is very important. And on a 1440p 27-inch monitor, I found doing that difficult. Maybe with something like an ultra wide, it would be better, but I don't have that, so it's not important. So I decided to buy a VR headset sometime later to see if it will solve those two main issues. My first VR headset is the HTC Vive Pro 2. It's a decent VR headset, and yes, it did mostly solve the two main issues that I had while playing with a monitor. That being said, it also came with its own issues, particularly distortion, blurriness, God rays, and glare. And it was compounded by the fact that if my eyes aren't on the right spot on the Vive Pro 2, the video gets worse. Like the blurriness becomes even worse. I thought at the time that the headset was good, but it clearly wasn't the perfect solution. That's when I decided to buy the Crystal Light. Now first, why the Crystal Light and not the Crystal Super? Well, you see, I bought the Crystal Light way back during November last year. It took them more than a month to ship me the headset. According to Wikipedia, at least, they are based in China, so that's probably the reason why it took so long to get here. Take note of that if you want to buy one. Anyway, the two main reasons why I didn't get the Crystal Super are that at the time I bought the Crystal Light, the Super wasn't out yet. It released this January. Also, I did my research before I bought this thing, and I learned that playing DCS at the Crystal Light's max resolution basically gave around 40 to 70 FPS on average on my specs. That's 2880 by 2880 resolution per eye. Meanwhile, the Pimax Crystal Super has a resolution of 3840 by 3840 per eye. That's a lot more resolution, which means it's going to require more computing power, which means I'll be getting less frames. Now, why not just upgrade my computer? It's not that easy. I'm currently running a 9800X 3D with 64 gigabytes of RAM and an RTX 4090, and DCS is installed in a Gen 5 SSD. So there really isn't much for me to upgrade at the time. Now, In the next few days, more or less, it depends on when I release this video, I may have a part that I can upgrade. But seriously, even when I was deciding on what to buy, I didn't really think that the RTX 5090 would be able to run DCS on max settings at the Crystal Super's resolution. I expected it to perform better with the Crystal Light, maybe averaging above 60 frames at last. So I was banking on that. As for why frame rate matters to me, it's because I mostly play DCS for PvP. Even when I PvE, it's so that I can improve for PvP. And as I'm sure most of you will know, frame rate matters a lot in PvP. Finally, as for what I think about the headset itself, as far as I'm concerned, it is definitely better than the Vive Pro 2. The visual clarity is much greater, the details are better, there's little to no God rays, it doesn't blur nearly as bad as the Vive Pro 2 along the edges. It's just a more immersive and visually superior experience. When I first started playing VR, one of the things that happened to me during what I would call an adjustment period is that when I thought I was going to crash, my body reacts like as if I was going to crash. That was with the Vive Pro 2. With the Crystal Light, that feeling of immersion is magnified. Also, because it is less blurry overall, it is easier to notice when planes are in my peripheral vision in DCS. So that translates to an in-game advantage too. Finding the sweet spot for my eyes is also a lot easier on the Crystal Light too. Overall, using it is just easier than the Vive Pro 2 in my opinion. That being said, it's still not a perfect solution, just one that I think is good enough for me to keep playing on. Particularly, I see three main issues. First, as I already said before, the frame rate with my current specs, it's not a constant 60 at max resolution. Now you can lower the resolution, which I do for the purposes of recording, and even then it's still a bit laggy, as I'm sure you already noticed. But really, what's the point of advertising 2880 by 2880 per eye if the buyers aren't going to be running at that? Maybe for other games it's fine, but clearly for DCS it is not. Second, I don't like the Crystal Light's earphones, if it even is that. It's more like speakers placed near my ear. The audio quality itself is okay. I have experience with audiophile grade headsets, so maybe it's just me thinking it's a little on the mediocre end. But that's not the main issue. It's the way they made it. You can hear background noise around. There is no noise cancellation, which takes you out of the immersion. I live on my own apartment, sure, and I'm typically a bit quiet aside from playing games, but the apartment I live in can get noisy at times due to my neighbors, so anytime people eat, I hear the spoons hitting the plates, furniture moving around, I hear that. Loud music, people arguing. Now I can solve this issue by using a Bluetooth earpod with noise cancellation, but that's beyond what I paid Pimax for, so for me it's not great. Lastly, this isn't really just a Crystal Light issue, it's also an issue with the Vive Pro 2. It's the lens fog. Every 40 minutes or so, fog builds up on the lenses while I'm using them. So I have to stop playing and wipe the lenses before it gets to the point where I can't see anymore. Overall though, I still prefer it to playing with the Vive or the monitor. It's been an absolute fun playing DCS with it. As for my actual performance in DCS, well, I died a lot to get this footage. I admit that I am not a good player. It is definitely a difficult game. Steam currently says that I have 85 hours on it. Honestly, it feels like nothing. As I play with these opponents, I definitely felt how much more I have to learn. Like 85 hours is a drop of water in the ocean kind of thing. And I love that. It's the same reason why I used to ladder in StarCraft 2. Why I raid in WoW. Why I like Star Citizen's previous flight model. And why I prefer Back 4 Blood over Left 4 Dead. That complexity, difficulty, and skill ceiling just makes me want to keep playing, to keep improving. So yeah, bring on the deaths. I will keep playing nonetheless. I want to get better. Now as for how much I will get better, well, it's probably gonna be a little and it's probably gonna be slow considering me. After all, I'm not a quick learner, admittedly. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. There's a little bit more footage going, so I'll just keep it running. Thanks for watching.
Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Откат гидросистемы. Откат гидросистемы. Откат гидросистемы. Откат гидросистемы. Переведи в Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Предельный угол. Focus 5143. Request bogey dope. Предельный угол атаки. Предельный угол атаки. Предельный угол атаки. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор.